Hello, everyone. I'm going
Hi,
to change this so we're at the same.
Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon. I guess it's afternoon for both of us now.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy day, so it feels like morning still.
Yes. So sorry for the delay. Technical difficulties always happen right before these things.
But let us know where you're watching from, what you're most excited for. I know that our studies are always something that we really take pride in. We do a lot of work and data collection to make sure we can give you those insights and kind of key trends on what's happening across social media networks and advertising platforms. So really excited to dive in today to talk about Facebook ads. So let's just get started. So to conduct this study, first, let's kind of talk about what we'll go through. So when we talk about the Facebook ads campaign, obviously Meta has now taken over Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. So we analyzed ads across all of these platforms. So we're going to be looking at which campaign types are the most invested in, which get the best CPC, what's the average CPC, and which CPM works best. So then to conduct this study, we took a sample of 28,223 advertising accounts and then analyzed over 200,000 campaigns for a total of over 34 million US dollars. So when we conducted this too, since it was worldwide, there was different currencies, but to facilitate the comparison, make it easy, we converted everything into USD.
Yep.
So the average duration of a campaign was 11 days, 5 hours, and 36 minutes. And then the average CPC was 7 cents, and the average CPM was $1.12. So this is interesting to note, just kind of as a general, how long do people run their campaigns for? Because we see some from anywhere from a day to a month. So I think that 11 days is interesting to note that it's a short amount of time, but it's I don't know.
I feel like it's just enough. Once I had a meeting with someone from Meta, just like to get help with ads, and they say that they see on average like 10 days is that nice sweet spot. So it's kind of great to see that our average duration that we pulled is kind of in that same range, that you want to run your ads for like at least this amount of time to get the best results.
Right. Okay. And once again, reiterating, so we analyze campaigns across placements on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. So when we say Facebook ads, this is not just including just the Facebook platform. So first, what we looked at is which campaign objectives are used most commonly. So when we talk about campaign objectives, we'll break it down in this graph. But you'll see on the right the whole list of campaign objectives. So interactions, traffic, brand awareness, brand recognition, lead generation, sales, and app promotion. So the inner circle is going to be the data that we collected last year from 2023. And then the outer circle is going to be 2024. So when we compare these two together, you can see more or less that they're pretty similar, with a little bit increase in interactions. And in terms of traffic, there's a little bit more traffic campaigns. And I'm trying to think of see what else. More or less looks pretty similar.
Same. Yeah, I mean, app promotion and sales pretty much stayed the same. we really just saw the biggest difference in, I mean, brand recognition, we saw a little bit of a difference, leads, and then traffic and interaction being the most popular. Like they have such a big spike in comparison to the other types of campaigns.
Yeah, right. So then when we broke this down of, okay, which are the most used and which have the highest budgets? So this was interesting because here you can actually see a bigger discrepancy. So for example, interaction have a higher budget this year, and sales, there's more budget allocated, it seems like last year, whereas brands aren't investing as much in sales campaigns this year. Um, yeah. And same with traffic. There's a little bit increase in that budget allocation. So it's interesting to see those.
Yeah, it really is. And the difference too, just like I mean, like app promotion is so low on both of them. And that's also interesting to me that that's just like that one is pretty consistent across the board with being like smaller on the percentage scale.
Yeah. So when we look at this, we can see kind of a push more towards interaction traffic campaigns rather than sales campaigns, which seem to, not be the most popular last year, but still one of the leading campaign types, and a smaller budget is allocated towards those this year. So then when we break down the average budget per campaign objective, we wanted to know which campaign objective has the highest and lowest average budget. So we're comparing it to the previous year, we can see, as I pointed out, that the budgets for sales campaigns have decreased this year. And then the budget for the interactions have increased, or did I read that wrong?
That's backwards, I think.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah.
but sales have increased slightly and then leads have decreased slightly. Yes. Well, leads kind of decreased a lot from 700 to about 400. And then it's also interesting because I just mentioned that like app promotion in terms of just like that small percentage of the most used types of campaigns, like it's so small. But if you look, the average budget for those types of campaigns are a lot higher in
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah. So when we think about why this is, we'll get into it, I think, in a little bit. But, if you're thinking about promoting your one app, and that's kind of your biggest goal is the app downloads, it would make sense why you would want to allocate a higher budget to it. But yeah, it's interesting that it's such a small percentage of brands that are running app promotion campaigns, but they have the highest budget.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we, wanted to see what the average CPC per country. So obviously CPC, cost per click. We did kind of this analysis across multiple different countries. So below you can see, so Great Britain, Germany, US, Canada, Australia, kind of breaking down like across regions. So the yellow bar is going to indicate the 2023 numbers, and then 2024 is going to be marked in blue. So for example, like in the US, stayed completely the same, which is really interesting.
That's really interesting.
But for, a country like Canada, we saw a decrease in CPC this year compared to last year. Yeah, so it differs per country, but trying to see overall if there's any like.
And then also just to clarify too, Aniston already mentioned it, but we did, when we were conducting this study, we did make sure to transfer everything into, US dollars just so that we could compare, fairly in terms of the data. So everything is in US dollars for our study.
Yeah, so it seems like across the board, the countries that have the biggest discrepancies are Great Britain, is is that Germany, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Australia. I don't know what AE.
I'm not sure what that one is either.
That one is
Unknown at the moment. And then Italy has the lowest. I mean, Italy didn't change actually at all, but does have the lowest, I guess.
yeah,
The lowest CPC.
interesting.
But I think that makes sense because the US and I mean the UK as well, like they run ads so consistently. So I feel like that the graph kind of makes sense in that regard.
Yeah. Okay. And then something that, social media managers, marketers, advertisers really want to know is which campaigns receive the most impressions. Impressions are a huge, indicator of how wide the reach is of your campaigns. So when we look at this, we can see that, brand recognition campaigns receive the highest impressions. So this kind of makes sense in terms of, if you're running a brand awareness campaign, you obviously want it to get in front of the most amount of people, compared to, app promotion, where it's going to be a much more targeted, narrow campaign, normally. But, in second place, traffic campaigns still receive, a big number of impressions.
I feel like that also makes sense in terms of because with this data we also pulled like Instagram placements, and when you're boosting a post, a lot of the times you're like doing traffic campaigns or brand awareness campaigns when you're boosting posts. So it makes a lot of sense because those are so easily built. Like it's only a couple of clicks to run that ad, that it would also have a higher reach of impressions.
Right. Right.
And it also, I believe, has a lower CPM in comparison to other campaigns. So it's like a good investment to do brand awareness campaigns for that reason. You're not only obviously, it's a good investment, but you're reaching the most amount of people in your audience that you're setting it to.
Right. Okay. And then which campaign has the highest CPC and the lowest? So if we look at this chart of the average CPC, I'm gonna pull up. My eyes are like, I can't, it's hard to see when it's on this small screen, so I got to pull up a different. Also, sorry for my voice. I'm a little bit sick right now, but it's just how we roll with it. Luckily, we get to work from home, so we get to be sick in our own homes. Okay, so if we break down the average CPM oh, sorry, this is the average CPC. Let me pull up that one. Okay, if we break down the average CPC per campaign objective, so the darker hue is going to be 2024, and the lighter is going to be 2023. So, for example, for app promotion, we saw a huge increase in the average CPC.
Yeah.
Leads, we also saw an increase. And then it kind of seems like the others, there was a small decrease in sales, but the rest seemed to kind of stay the same.
Yeah. It's actually it's interesting to me that app promotion changed so much. But like you were saying, if that's the one thing that you're promoting, it would make sense that, that the CPC is like that. Especially when the average CPC per campaign is, I think, about 7 cents.
Yeah. So I guess if there was a, higher CPC, that would mean, increased competition, more or less. Or what would you draw kind of from that increase?
Yeah, I would say that because it changed so much. I mean, it went from 12 to 32 cents. It has the highest cost per click. So if you don't necessarily have a large advertising budget, it would probably make more sense to do a different type of campaign just
Right.
to get more bang for your buck.
Right. Okay. And then, we did the same thing with CPM. So looking at this chart, once again, the darker hue is 2024, lighter is 2023. So again, see a huge increase in app promotion CPM, increase in lead CPM, sales, and a little increase, and it literally
One
like
cent.
1 cent increase in interactions. Brand recognition and traffic have a really small decrease. So once again, app promotion kind of has that biggest increase from last year.
It's definitely the most inconsistent with the data from last year for sure.
So someone asked, what is CPM? So CPM is cost per meal. Meal is actually the kind of real verbiage for it, but it's also cost per 1,000 impressions. So basically how much you're paying as an advertiser for each 1,000 impressions of your campaigns. So generally, a lower CPM is going to mean that you can allocate more of your budget to those impressions.
Mhm.
Whereas, a higher CPM is going to mean you're paying more for those 1,000 impressions.
Yeah. And about the average CPM across the board is $1.12. So you can see that too in comparison to like where with like CPC, where it's a lot lower. I think it was 7 cents. CPM is a little bit higher.
Okay. Now, which campaign types get the most clicks? So once again, this is, an important number to know. Obviously, if you're running a traffic campaign, that's going to be your main goal, mostly. But in terms of clicks, we can see that the highest, the campaign objectives that receive the highest clicks is the traffic campaigns. So that makes sense when you're thinking about obviously the objective is to drive traffic to your website, your landing page, and hopefully, see those conversions. But clicks, obviously, you can't, get someone through that purchasing process unless they click on your campaign.
Yeah.
So it's a great indicator of, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and I'm like that. I mean, with the data, it makes complete sense just because with traffic, I mean, that's the whole, either it's going to be with a traffic campaign, it's either going to be clicks or landing page views. And more of the time, more people are clicking on clicks as the objective. So it would make sense that traffic is the highest in terms of this specific graph.
Yeah.
Clicks to, someone said, so clicks equals to website or click on ad. It's the clicks on the ads. If you were wanting to measure those websites, you would more than likely want to do landing page views. And with that, usually you have to have a pixel set up so that you can track those landing page views in your meta ads.
Yeah. We can also drop a guide to how you can run Facebook ad campaigns within Metricool. It takes 8 steps. It's really easy. But we can drop that link to our blog post. And it has screenshots, kind of what it looks like. So basically in our configuration of ads too, we have a little drop down where it's, has that option to add our Metricool pixels, which is the pixels in Facebook. So yeah.
And it's really nice and simple, especially if you are just getting started with ads. Creating them through the Metricool platform will literally, it's almost like baby steps. Like it'll take you step by step. It'll explain the process. So that blog in conjunction to just, following along when you're creating them in the platform is really simple. We also have a blog that we can drop about just like ads 101 so that you can get like a good in-depth understanding if this is your first time really playing around with meta ads and all the different placements, because it can be confusing on your first try or your first couple go rounds, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so this has kind of brought us to the end of the, biggest data that we looked at. So the learnings are engagement, or, kind of the brand awareness campaigns continue to be used the most. And seems that brands and social media managers have a favorite campaign type, which is the interaction campaigns. And then also app promotion leads, the average app promotion campaigns have the highest budget. We saw obviously a big increase in CPC and CPM, but overall CPC, CPM, and impressions are decreased from last year.
Which is very interesting. And then if you'd like to take a look at the data that we pulled from last year, we do have a Facebook Ads 2023 study if you'd like to do that comparison and read through that ad as well, because a lot of our data this year is compared to that. But it's interesting to see that CPC, CPM, and impressions are down. And we wonder if that will be the same trajectory through the rest of 2024 because our sample of data is from the first beginning months of this year. So it'll be interesting to see if that's what continues happening throughout the rest of the year. Oh, you're muted, Aniston.
Sorry. So that leads us to, kind of the end of the presentation, but of course we'll be here to open it up to any questions you have about the study, about Metricool in general. And then also, if you want to use code 24FB ads, you can try any of our premium plans 30 days for free. So this allows you, to create customizable, downloadable reports. You can create multiple link in bio pages, have multiple brands to manage in Metricool. So some really good stuff. And you can try it 30 days for free. So really encourage you guys to try this. There's really no catch to it. We're not trying to
see if it's something you like.
Yeah.
Lots of features to unlock. And also, just if you're not aware of the ad capabilities in the Metricool platform, you can, like Aniston mentioned, create Facebook and Google ads from scratch. We can also pull those analytics, and we can also pull TikTok analytics for those ad campaigns. You can also do boosting right within our platform, which is really simple. So as I was saying before, boosting is usually just a few clicks, and it's no different in the Metricool app. You just, pick the amount that you want to boost the thing for, and then you send it off to get approved, and it's really easy to boost some posts.
Yeah. Let us know if you want any like ads tutorial on our YouTube channel, anything like that. If you liked, I know that we have a lot of studies about kind of the more organic side of social, but if you enjoyed the, advertising side of it, let us know. We're always happy to create content and give you guys kind of that data about anything you need to help your strategy. So we're always here to help you. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments right now.
Yeah. And if you did happen to tune in late, don't worry. The recording will be sent to you. Either if you signed up for this, you'll get it in an email. But if not, this lives on our YouTube channel forever. So feel free to come back and watch it if you missed the beginning, or if you need to go back and maybe get some clarification on any certain points. But yeah, of course. And if you are watching this after the fact, you can also leave any questions in the comments, and we'll try to get to them as well and answer anything about Metricool or the study.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.